Regulation versus prohibition and your stance. I want to open with some relevance to myself, and maybe you too. If you've ever seen Shameless, a series brought to life under the direction of John Wells and Emmy Rossum, you've seen how substance use and abuse plays out in a raw, unfiltered way. The Gallagher's world is chaotic, or maybe relatable to us, but it also raises real questions about how regulation, or the lack thereof, shapes lives and communities. Is it nature, nurture, or maybe both? The argument the Gallaghers use so often. What is the reason we respond to this debate, and how can we challenge that? Let's explore. I'm coming at this as someone with personal experience tied to legal substances, alcohol, tobacco, and now marijuana. I haven't dealt directly with opioids or harder drugs, and that's a privilege, but it also means that my perspective is limited. Still, I've seen how regulation impacts lives, sometimes positively, sometimes not so much. My voice is an outsider in this bigger conversation, and I'm okay with that. I think it gives me space to ask questions without being too rooted in one position. Do regulation laws work better than prohibition laws? History shows us that prohibition often fuels organized crime and unsafe practices. During alcohol prohibition in the 1920s, unregulated production led to poison supplies and rampant crime. Evidence also suggests that regulation can reduce harms, for instance, tobacco regulation. Cora DeBeck and Perry Kendall highlight in their article, drug prohibition is fueling the overdose crisis, regulating drugs is the way out, that a regulated drug supply could be transformational. They argue that the strict health and safety standards, combined with public health-based regulations, could reverse the overdose crisis while reducing harm. Growing up, I saw the impacts of alcohol and tobacco firsthand, how easy it was to consistently purchase these harmful substances and passing it on through generational use. It's such a common and unfortunate experience. Growing up, holding your breath when you walked by someone smoking, or even fake coughing to make them feel bad. I hated it growing up. The issue always pegged me to why adults smoke and drank, until you realize these issues are embedded deeper than you saw growing up. But at the same time, I've seen people close to me struggle with addiction, even legal substances. Regulation isn't a perfect fix. It's just one approach. What about you? Do you have personal experiences that shape how you see this debate? I think acknowledging our biases is key to having a fair conversation. Does prohibition create more harm by driving up unregulated dangerous markets? Does regulation normalize substance use? And why are we naturally inclined to support or reject one approach over the other? Is it cultural, political, personal? How much of our stance comes from what we've been taught versus what we've experienced? Where does that leave us? I don't have a clean answer for you, and honestly, that's the point. Even if I had more time to talk to myself, this isn't a debate to win. It's a question to sit with. Do you think regulation is the better path, or does prohibition have its merits? Why do you feel the way you do? Check out the works cited linked in the description for more insights into this topic.